This is Bad Man Rhythm.
BBC
Radio 1.
Greg James.
My record of the week from the horrors to play in just a bit. Also, Paolo Nutini, 10 out of 10, will be on next. Last night was the nationwide premiere of a new film called Life in a Day. You may well have seen some posters in bus stops and stuff on the side of buildings. There's quite a big campaign going on at the minute. New film called Life in a Day, which is the one which a lot of people might be calling that YouTube film. So over a year ago, the makers of this film decided to just do a film based on one day, which was July the 24th, 2010, and get people all over the world to send in what they were doing on that day and stuff that was important to them, and just ask a few simple questions like, what's in your pocket, what are you afraid of, and what do you love? Those are the three simple questions. And I watched it last night. So the makers of this film had spent, well, over a year sorting out this film and collating all the tapes. They had tens of thousands of hours of film to get through. And don't worry, it's only like an hour and a half, so it's not that long. But it is simply brilliant. I watched it last night, and I'm not a massive fan of pretentious, arty stuff, and I feared that it might be like that, but it's not at all. Obviously, it charts a day on planet Earth, and it's just fascinating. It's honest and gritty, and it's just not pretentious and arty-farty at all. It is just so blooming brilliant. It follows round about, I don't know, 20 to 30 people sort of intimately. But there's so many different snapshots of the planet in this day. So I urge you to watch this. It comes out on Friday. It's just interesting, I think is the best way to say it. It's not Hollywood. There's no big names in it. There's no writers, really. They just put this kind of story together, and they just show you what happens all over the planet on one day in particular. And there are some shocking bits, there are some funny bits, there are some just absolutely beautiful bits, some interesting moments as well. For example, there's a guy who was born in Korea, and he's spent the last 9 years of his life cycling around the world. And he was at the premiere last night, and he seemed like a very nice chap. So they follow him for a little bit on one of his days. There's a guy in America who was filming himself getting advice off his mum because he fancied a girl that he'd been mates with for a little while, and it charts the whole plot of that, and sort of the bit where he asks her and just goes, I won't give it away anyway. There's some shocking bits, some little gory bits as well, but it is just amazing. You have to see this film. And I actually think that although it's not the most hilarious kind of it's not one of those slapstick kind of rom-coms, but I think that this might be the perfect date film, because the boy or girl you take to see it will go, well, obviously he's really quite intelligent, in touch with the world, knows what he's on about, quite interesting chap. And at the end, the talking points are endless. So I think this is the perfect date film. So if you are thinking about going to the cinema this Friday or this weekend, then go and see Life in a Day, because it is just phenomenal. One of the best things I've ever seen, and it's like nothing else I've ever seen either. And I think it'll be like a YouTube film. It won't be like a massive smash hit blockbuster to start off with, but people will go, oh, have you seen that new YouTube film? Oh, it's amazing. So it's all made up from personal videos from all over the world sent in to YouTube, and they've made a feature-length quality film. It is so good. I cannot recommend it to you enough. Life in a Day. Go and see it this weekend.
BBC
Radio 1.
Greg James.
And report back. If you hate it, then just blame me. But I think you won't. I think you'll love it. Shall we have Paolo now then, and then Record of the Week from the horrors next? Paolo Nutini, 10 out of 10 on Radio 1. The one pretentious thing I will say about this film, and I don't mean it to sound like this, but the best thing about it is that it shows you that there is more than just us on our little island going about our little daily lives. That is the most fascinating thing about it, because you don't normally think about, oh, I wonder what that chap in Tunis is up to at breakfast time. And it shows you, it charts the day, and it shows you a bit of people from England, it shows some people from Africa, it shows some people from India. It's just, it brings the whole world together in one film, and it's just fascinating to see what the rest of the world's up to when we're just pottering around doing our thing every single day. So go and watch it. Life in a Day. It's out on Friday, and you will just love it. I think you really will. You'll find it interesting. Harv on the Wirral. I went last night to see it, Greg. Talked about it till midnight with my wife and had to get up at 5 o'clock. Great film. Totally worth it. So it was very good. There was a Q&A after the film with the producer and director, which was fascinating to watch because they were there, some of the cast were assembled. And then there's always one person that asks the dodgy question. There's always a question like, oh, you don't need to ask that, they've already mentioned it, blah, blah, blah. And this one girl goes, so are there any common themes running through the film? I was like, yes, it's a film about common themes, like people are doing the same thing all over the world but in slightly different places. That's the whole point of the film. The director must have gone, sorry, did you not watch the film we just showed you? You won't believe, well, you probably will believe, how unbelievably ridiculous this moment was yesterday at the premiere in a shopping centre in West London, Westfields, coming up the escalator after I talked a lot about Made in Chelsea yesterday. Guess who appeared up the top of the escalator yesterday?
You look absolutely amazing. I'm just kind of speechless on just how happy I am and how great things are at the moment.
I did a double take and I was chatting to someone and went, oh my God, they're here. The Made in Chelsea people went last night, and the only guy I think I know his name is Spencer, and I think the girl is Kagi, and I think she was there, and I think it was, I'm not sure who it was, I think it might have been this guy, Hugo.
Jay, we had a nice time this weekend.
I had the best time.
I've had fun hanging out with you.
Me too, it's really nice spending time together.
I've been flirting with you a lot this weekend.
You know you have. But that's the thing, when we're together, it's like magnetic.
They were there. Oh no, my God, they're here. Unfortunately, Ollie, the bumhole man, wasn't there.
So how do worms give birth then?
Do they make eggs or do they live bear?
Do they what?
Live bear, like live bearers in fish is when they give birth to fish, not eggs.
Through their mouths. Fish give birth through their mouths, don't they? Like eggs come out their mouths.
No.
No, darling.
Yeah, they do.
No, they have bum holes.
No, darling. They're bum holes.
Sadly, he wasn't there last night. Would have been a great chat though if he was. Moving on from Worms and Life in a Day and all that. Go and see that film, by the way, it's so good. My record of the week is from The Horrors, This Is Still Life.